Global Village.
Good evening. This is the 5FM Radio Main News. The headlines. Zambia leader Jackson Silavwe calls for economic transformation. ZESCO urges the public to be vigilant to curb vandalism. Head of controversial Israel-backed Gaza aid group resigns. This bulletin is live on our Facebook, 5FM Radio Zambia, and YouTube, 5FM Radio Zambia. With the details, my name is Lance Sannie. Patriotic Front Media Director Edwin Lifwekelo says the silent removal of key constitutional provisions, along with the proposal to increase the number of parliamentary seats to 269, represents an unnecessary financial burden on an already strained economy. Mr. Lifwekelo argues that the funds intended for these processes could be better redirected toward addressing load shedding, stabilizing fuel prices, subsidizing meal, and reviving the non-governmental gender organizations coordinating council and constitutional experts and international stakeholders, including the United Nations, the United States, and the United Kingdom, to speak out. Mr. Lifwekelo emphasizes that the UPND government must be reminded that power does not reside in State House, but in the hands of people. An pound of Lusaka has attacked a boy aged 1 year and 8 months old, causing the toddler to sustain injury. Police confirmed the development to 5FM News, saying that the incident occurred on May 25, 2025, around 10:30 hours in Kanono area of Kanyama compound. The incident was reported by the victim's father, a 42-year-old resident of the same locality. Police Assistant Public Relations Officer Godfrey Chilabi says has a history of aggressive behavior and has previously attacked other children in the area. Chilabi adds that preliminary investigations indicate that on the material day, the child was playing outside the house with his elder sibling when a rooster owned by their 43-year-old landlord and inflicted a deep cut on the child's head. Meanwhile, the Zambia Police Service has engaged relevant stakeholders, including the veterinary department, for the quarantine of the bird and necessary veterinary forensic investigations, as well as the Lusaka City Council for enforcement actions against the owner of the bird in accordance with Section 67 of the Public Health Act, Chapter 295 of the Laws of Zambia, and Statutory Instrument Number 44 of 2007, which prohibits nuisance. In another related development, police in Lusaka have recorded a case of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, in which the complainant, Mr. Chitambala Mwewa of Avondale, Lusaka, he is allegedly to have been assaulted. 26, 2025, around 08 hours near the Simpson building area. Golden Party of Zambia leader Jackson Silavwe has called for economic transformation as a key factor in elevating the country to the desired standard. Mr. Silavwe observes that Zambia has so far experienced two major people's movements, namely the independence movement and the multi-party democracy movement. He states that both the independence and multi-party movements strongly unified the people across political parties, tribes, regions, age groups, colors, and social statuses. Mr. Silavwe explains that the independent movement gave citizens a sense of determination and nationality identity, while the multi-party movement defined how the country governs itself and established a democratic governance system. However, he noted that the third movement, which Zambia now desperately needs, is the economic movement. He says this movement should include advocating for indigenous ownership of the local economy, offering homegrown indigenous economic solutions, and initiating radical private sector reforms to expand the local indigenous market. Mr. Silavwe also emphasized the urgent need to lift millions of Zambians out of poverty in order to reduce poverty levels among indigenous Zambians. Mwansabombo Council Secretary Felix Mwila has issued a stern warning to all drivers in the district to strictly adhere to road safety regulations to prevent accidents and preserve lives. He expressed deep concern over the increase in cases of reckless driving, which have led to avoidable accidents and loss of lives in the district. The council secretary further called on members of the public to report any drivers, including government officers, found those whether using motor vehicles or motorcycles to appropriate law enforcement officers. Assured the community that the council, in collaboration with law enforcement agencies, will take decisive action against offenders to ensure compliance with road safety measures. Mr. Mwila reaffirmed the Mwanza-Wombwe Town Council's dedication to providing quality service delivery across the district. He highlighted ongoing efforts to improve road infrastructure and enhance public safety through community engagement and enforcement of bylaws. The council secretary urged residents to remain vigilant and report any misconduct by drivers, including unauthorized use of government vehicles, overloading, or driving under the influence of alcohol. He assured whistleblowers of confidentiality and swift action in reported cases. This is contained in a statement issued by Mwanza-Wombwe Town Council Acting Public Relations Officer Josephine Cavasso. In other news, evening. As Zambia joins the rest of the continent in commemorating African Freedom Day, Transparency International Zambia TIZ honors the legacy of the continent's liberation struggles and celebrates the progress made in advocating democracy, peace, and development. The United Party for National Development UPND has settled for Lufeyo Ngoma as a party candidate for the Lumezi parliamentary by-election scheduled for next month. Up next, the business news.
From Radio Business News, we mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
The power utility company ZESCO is urging the public to be vigilant about the increased levels of vandalism on power installations, citing the development as one of the unplanned causes of power outages. The power utility company says it remains committed to adhering to the published electricity supply schedules. However, faults and other unplanned outages, including those triggered by vandalism, may disturb such plans. The company is therefore encouraging its customers to report any outages lasting more than 24 hours, as doing so will help to curb high levels of vandalism. ZESCO is further urging the public to report any suspicious activity on power installations to the law enforcement agencies, including the police. Ends the business news.
From Radio Business News, we mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
And in foreign news, the head of an organization set up to distribute aid in Gaza as part of a controversial Israel-backed plan has resigned, saying it could not work in a way that adhered to humanitarian principles. Jack Wood quit the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation GHF late on Sunday, saying it would not be able to fulfill the principles of humanity, neutrality, impartiality, and independence. The plan, also backed by the US, envisions private contractors delivering aid to Palestinians via Israel designated distribution sites. It was heavily criticized by the United Nations, which says it will not participate. And in sports news, Chipolo Polo coach Avram Grant has named a 25-member provisional squad for two of the FIFA window international friendly games against Sudan and Tunisia in Morocco. Zambia will play Sudan on June 6 before facing Tunisia 4 days later. The technical bench is using the friendly games as part of preparations for the Group E September round of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers when the Chipolo Polo host the Atlas Lions of Morocco before facing Tanzania and Niger in October. Zambia also has its eyes on the wider goal of keeping the team engaged ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations, which will be held in Morocco in December. The Chipolo Polo qualified for the AFCON after topping Group G with 13 points ahead of African champions Cote d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone, and Chad. And now, the weather.
Class Econ Roofing Africa.
Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy.
Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ.
The evening is mainly clear, slightly windy, and warm to mild. Ends our weather report, and that item brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, a recap of the stories that made headlines. Golden Party of Zambia leader Jackson Silavwe has called for economic transformation as a key factor in elevating the country to the desired standard of living. The power utility company ZESCO is urging the public to be vigilant about the increased levels of vandalism on power installations, citing the development as one of the unplanned causes of power outages. And finally, the head of an organization set up to distribute aid in Gaza as part of a controversial Israel-backed plan has resigned, saying it could not work in a way that adhered to humanitarian principles. For more news, follow us on Facebook and YouTube, 5FM Radio Zambia. On behalf of the entire news crew and the technical department, thank you for listening to the happy world of 5FM. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. My name is Lance Sannie Banda. Enjoy the rest of the evening.